Boston Celtics and Brad Stevens dropped a massive shock this afternoon when they made multiple sneaky moves as they decided to waive rookie Anton Watson, a forward out of Gonzaga, who was a second round selection that the Celtics saw a lot of intrigue in. But they also went in and brought in a new sharpshooter with some length and size that could ultimately help out this young roster as well going into Maine. We're going to be diving into all of this and exploring all of this stuff that is involving the Boston Celtics in this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support on the channel, which has been super appreciative over the last couple weeks, and I just want to say thank you guys so much, and let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section on this big news, because personally it came to a shock to me, and I feel like to a lot of other Celtics fans this was something that they were not anticipating following the Celtics win coming in this afternoon. So without further ado, let's dive into this video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack, and like I said in the introduction, this was a shocking turn of events because the Celtics played in the afternoon. We saw them take on the Denver Nuggets. I thought it was going to be done after that. There was going to be no more news for this Celtics team. A clean slate this afternoon. But unfortunately, we had a bombshell drop as we saw the Boston Celtics decided to waive rookie Anton Watson, someone that they had on a two-way contract and someone that impressed with the Boston Celtics in the Summer League. Now, Watson, like I mentioned, was the 54th selection coming out of Gonzaga. And with this, the Celtics kind of saw some shades of a defensive three-point specialist coming into this rotation. And a lot of Celtics fans, like I mentioned, were intrigued when Watson was then gifted a two-way spot after impressing in Summer League. So with him being waived and being one of the only two rookies in this draft class being waived and kind of getting forgotten with, it comes to a shock to me, but I also believe to a lot of other Celtics fans. But to the notice of that, obviously, I thought that Brad Stevens would have another move up his sleeve, and we'll obviously see what that means. Now, with this obviously coming through fruition, I asked if he does waive, does that mean he stay in Maine or does that mean he's a free agent? And I got the answer to that question with letting me know that he is off the Celtics roster and is off the Maine Celtics, which comes to a complete shock. Like I said, I don't know why the Boston Celtics would do this. Maybe there was some conditioning stuff with Anton Watson. I don't necessarily know, but for the Maine Celtics, in these games, he wasn't too bad for this squad, averaging right around 12 points on 43% from the field. Pretty decent shooting from three-point range as well. And he was, like I said, in the Summer League, a solid wing defender, a guy who could grab some rebounds, a little bit undersized, but was utilized as kind of a power forward and had some shades of Al Horford, as some people were comparing him to, as like a little bit stretch four for this Celtics team. But ultimately with Watson, he will be leaving this Celtics team, and I don't necessarily know why. Like I mentioned, I don't think anyone has a pinpoint reason on why Watson has been waived, but it does come, like I said, to a complete shock to not to a lot of people, including myself, due to the fact that he was a rookie, and you don't see a lot of rookies getting waived. Ultimately, if he was a player that was on a couple teams, had bounced around the league on a couple of two ways, had underperformed, then I could see the reasoning being like, all right, yeah, he just wasn't fitting in with this Celtics squad. It makes sense. But for a guy that was just a rookie this season, maybe there are some other issues behind the scenes. But we'll have to see with Anton Watson. I do wish him the best of luck, and I'm hoping that he does get picked up by another team, if not a G League team or something like that, so that he can impress there as well. But with the Celtics obviously waiving Anton Watson, there is going to be some more news coming, and that news came once again right today, as we got to give a welcome to the newest Boston Celtic coming in on today, as we dive into the new news that the Celtics are signing forward Miles Norris. That's right, to a two-way NBA deal out of the NBA G League's Memphis Hustle, reported from agents Mike Silverman and Troy Payne of Equity Basketball. Norris has averaged 17.1 points and 5 rebounds so far this season for the G League for the Memphis Hustle. You're going to be asking, who is Miles Norris? What can he contribute for this Celtics team? Well, we're going to be getting into that, as we see from Justin Turpin that he has some connections with some Boston Celtics, as Peyton Pritchard and Miles Norris were teammates at Oregon in 2018 and 2019. And we can see from my boy Nick NBA that Miles Norris is a pretty solid three-point shooter, as it sees no surprise as the Celtics looked at him. He had 3 years at UC Santa Barbara before going to Oregon, and in those 3 seasons, he shot 38%, 36% and 39% from three. He shot 38% from three last year with the Hawks G League team, and now he was shooting 39% with the Memphis Hustle. He says good skill for a player at 6'7", but we do see here that a lot of people have been saying that he's going to be 6'7", but Jack Simone from How About Them Celtics lets us know that there's no way that Miles Norris is only 6'7", as Basketball Reference has him at 6'10", and various YouTube highlight titles have him at 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan. He also notes, like we said, that Norris played with Peyton Pritchard at Oregon 1 year before transferring. So maybe he played, okay, so I got that wrong. He played at Oregon before going to UC Santa Barbara, it seems like. But like I mentioned, played at UC Santa Barbara for 3 seasons, 38%, 36%, and 39% from three. He's a solid wing as well. 6'10", going to provide some various size for this Celtics team. And like we mentioned, was a solid G League player so far for the Memphis Hustle and for the Atlanta Skyhawks last season at 6'7", 24 years old. The Celtics are bringing in another two-way talent, one that maybe they feel could be a little bit more ready for the playoffs or ready to be put into these win now situations for the Celtics. We have seen the Celtics utilize guys like J.D. Davison, like Drew Peterson in some of these games, and recently as well with Jrue Holiday and some of these guys being out, having to use those guys for some extra offense. So with the Boston Celtics go out and getting Norris now on this Celtics team, I ultimately think that he could be another guy that if they feel could be ready, could be one of those two-way guys that could be thrown in there and utilized in some offense and defense. Like we said, he can shoot the basketball. If he's at 6'10", right, if he's not at 6'7", that's obviously a bigger, lankier wing for the Boston Celtics, someone that they could ultimately utilize at that 3-4 position, where they also do have some holes, like we mentioned, with just Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Sam Hauser being those dominant threes. Guys like Jordan Walsh and Torrey Craig have tried to fill in those roles for the Celtics, but maybe the Celtics want to address that a little bit more by adding another player on to this wing rotation. But once again, Norris is going to be a two-way guy, and the Celtics still do have one final roster spot open. So one of those guys in Norris, Davison, or Peterson could be brought up to that Celtics spot eventually as that 15th roster spot, and then the Celtics could have another two-way spot open on this team as well. But like I said, they made multiple moves today on a shocking day to make moves as well following a big win. Watson was with the parent team as well with, I believe, the main Celtics when the news was brought out to him. Unfortunate for Watson, but it's nice to see the Boston Celtics invest once again, bringing in Miles Norris here on a two-way deal. I think he's going to be something nice. 17.1 points, 5 rebounds in the G League, hoping that he can impress for this main Celtics team, can make an impact right away. And let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. A lot of people have been scrubbing some film, looking into him. Maybe we can get a little bit more of an in-depth look at him and what he can present for this G League in a future video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, what you guys ultimately think about this Celtics team and how you guys feel about the moves being made today in waiving Anton Watson and signing Miles Norris. But like I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you again, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your night, and go Boston Celtics. Peace out, everyone.